Good day, everyone. My name is Aaron Nemas, and today we'll be talking about what went wrong for Walmart in the Germany's market. In 1997, the world's largest retailer walked into the Europe's largest economy with a simple plan: bring the American formula that had conquered the United States and repeat it in Germany. Everyday low prices, massive stores, a culture of relentless efficiency. Walmart had never failed at scale before, but 9 years later, in 2006, the company packed up, sold every single one of its 85 German stores, and walked away having lost over $1 billion. This is the story of how one of the most successful companies in business history got a market so wrong. It is a story about culture, about law, about labor, and about the danger of assuming that what works at home will always work abroad. This is what went wrong Walmart in Germany. To understand the failure, we first need to understand the ambition. In December 1997, Walmart entered Germany by acquiring two existing hypermarket chains, Wortkauf and Interspar, giving it 95 stores overnight. On paper, Germany looked like the perfect target as it was the third largest economy in the world, with a large price-sensitive population that seemed tailor-made for Walmart's everyday low-price strategy. Its central location also made it a natural hub for expanding across the rest of Europe. Walmart's leadership was confident, so confident that they envisioned scaling all the way up to 200 stores by 2010. But there was a catch. Walmart entered as a wholly owned subsidiary with full control and no local partner. That meant there was no one inside the company with the cultural or legal insight to catch that was coming. The first crack appeared in something as basic as how people shop. German consumers were used to buying fresh food in small quantities, often visiting the store 3 or 4 times a week. Walmart's business model, on the other hand, was built around the opposite habit: the American-style weekly bulk shopping trip. On top of that, Walmart's signature rollback promotion, prices that changed week to week, felt unpredictable to German shoppers. Surveys at that time found that 70% of them actually preferred stable, consistently low price over fluctuating deals. Meanwhile, discounters like Aldi and Lidl were already deeply embedded in daily German life, offering leaner, no-frills stores that Walmart supercenters simply could not outcompete on price or convenience. The result speaks for itself. After 9 years in the market, Walmart's shares of German retail never rose above roughly 1.5%. Some of Walmart's biggest missteps were not the price at all, they were cultural. Walmart brought its American store culture directly into German aisles. Greeter welcomed shoppers at the door, cashier instructed to smile at every customer, and morning cheer session to boost staff energy before opening. In the United States, this reads as warmth. In Germany, it reads as strange, even intrusive. Shoppers were not looking to make a new friend at the entrance. They were there to buy groceries efficiently and move on. This is where two ideas from international marketing become very real. This is the first self-reference criterion, the unconscious tendency for Walmart's American executive to assume their own cultural norms would simply transfer abroad. The second is the idea of high and low context culture. Germany operates as a low context culture that values directness over performance, which is almost the exact opposite of the experience Walmart tried to sell. Perhaps Walmart's deepest miscalculation was in how it treated German labor and German law. The company imported a US-style employee code of ethics, including a rule banning romantic relationship between co-workers, and it went a step further by proposing an anonymous hotline where staff could report co-workers who break that rule. To many German employees, That hotline echoed a much darker chapter of their national history, informant culture under state surveillance, and it did not land as a neutral HR policy. In 2005, a German labor court agreed something was wrong, striking down both the fraternization rule and the hotline, ruling that provisions like this needed the consent of the work council before they could bind employees at all. That connects to a deeper structural problem. German law requires companies to work with elected works councils, known as the Betriebsrat, which hold a real legal power over workplace decisions, and Walmart's management largely resisted engaging with them in good faith. The clashes were not limited to labor policy either. In 2000, Germany's Federal Chief Cartel Office, the Bundeskartellamt, ordered Walmart, along with Aldi Nord and Lidl, to stop selling staple goods like milk, sugar, and vegetable fat below cost, a below cost pricing ruling that Germany's Federal Supreme Court later upheld. Layer a centralized top-down leadership style imported straight from Arkansas onto the top of this, and you get a collision between American corporate control and one of the most structured, rule-bound regulatory and labor system in the world. This is not a this is not a market Walmart could simply command. It was a market it had to negotiate with, and Walmart was not built for that. So why did all of this happen? When you step back, four root causes explain almost everything. First, weak market research, where Walmart's strategy was built on assumption carried over from the US, not on real German consumer or institutional data. Second, standardization over adaptation, applying a formula that worked at home without adjusting it for a cultural distant market. Third, an expatriate-heavy leadership team with top management, largely American and with limited fluency in German market realities. And fourth, legal and political blind spots, treating works council, labor law, and pricing regulation as obstacles to push through rather than factors to plan around from day one. None of these causes are exotic or unpredictable. They are the kinds of factors international market frameworks exist to catch, which is what makes this case such a valuable teaching example. Now, let's put real number behind the story. Walmart sank more than $1 billion into its German operation from the very start. By 2006, the company was losing somewhere between 200 and 250 million every single year, with no signs of turning a profit. When Walmart finally sold its German store to rival Metro AG, it booked an $863 million loss on the sale alone, a hit large enough to drag down the company's overall quarterly profit by 26%. Its first profit decline in a decade. And the final tally, all 85 remaining German stores sold off in a single transaction in July 2006. These are not small missteps that could be quietly absorbed. This is what a strategic failure looks like when it plays out a scale of global retailer. Walmart did not give up without trying to fix things. Over the years, German operations cycled through multiple CEOs, each attempting a different turnaround strategy. The company also cut costs, closing underperforming stores and laying off around 1,000 staff. It tried pushing prices even lower to compete, but that move ran straight into Germany's anti-dumping and competition laws, triggering legal pushback instead of sales growth. By this point, the pattern was familiar. Try something American, watch it clash with German norms or law, retreat and try again. Eventually, in July 2006, Walmart made a final call. It sold all 85 of its German stores to Metro AG and exited the country entirely, closing the book on a 9-year experience experiment that never found its footing. Hindsight makes the alternative path clear. Walmart could have entered through a joint venture or a strategic alliance with established local retailer, gaining a partner who already understood German consumers, regulation, and labor law instead of going it alone as a wholly owned subsidiary. It could have localized its store format, pricing communication, and staffing policy to German norms before attempting to scale nationally. It could have treated work council and union as early planning partners rather than obstacles to root around after the fact. And perhaps most importantly, it could have invested in deeper cultural and legal due diligence before launch, applying framework like Hofstede cultural dimension and actively checking its own assumption against the self-reference criterion. None of these guarantee success, but it would have given Walmart a real chance instead of a blind one. So, what should the next generation of marketers take from this story? Four lessons stands out. Market research has to go beyond consumer taste. It needs to cover institution and labor law too, because that is often where the real risk hides. Standardization only works when cultural distance is low, and in high distance market, real adaptation is not optional, it is survival. Local competitors with deep entrenched trust are extremely hard to displace on price alone, no matter how large your budget is. And finally, the self-reference criterion can undermine even a company with vast global resources because the biggest risk in international marketing often not the market, it is your own unexamined assumption about it. Walmart had the money, the scale, and the brand. What it did not have going in was humility about what it did not yet understand. This is what went wrong. That's it, and thank you.